Earth's magnetic north pole is shifting, and I mean that in two ways. One, it's literally moving away from Canada and towards Siberia, and two, it is accelerating. It's moving so fast now, we've had to update our models of Earth's magnetic field ahead of schedule. Why our magnetic poles move and flip has always been something of a mystery, but now a team of researchers from Leeds University believe they've found the culprit. Blobs. Since the magnetic North Pole was discovered in the 1830s, it's been moving, slowly at first, notching a top speed of at most 15 kilometers per year. But since the 1990s, that pace has picked up, and now it trucks across the Arctic anywhere from 50 to 60 kilometers per year. I should mention that things can get a little confusing when we start to talk about North Poles. The Earth actually has several, depending on your definition. There's the geographic North Pole, where all lines of longitude we've drawn on a globe converge. The magnetic North Poles don't align with the geographic North Pole. And yes, I said poles, because it turns out there are multiple magnetic North Poles. You've probably seen Earth's magnetic field likened to a giant bar magnet in your textbooks, with one north and one south pole, what's known as a dipole. From a zoomed-out view, like, say, in space, the Earth's magnetic field appears to look and act like a dipole. And the spot that best represents the northern dipole is off the coast of Greenland. However, on a finer scale, the Earth's magnetic field is more varied and complex than a giant bar magnet. And there is a point where the Earth's magnetic field is perpendicular to Earth's surface. If you were to stand over it with a compass, the needle would try and point straight down. So it's called the dip pole. So, to recap, there is a geomagnetic north dipole and a magnetic north dip pole, and they are different things that are in different places. Got it? Great, moving on. Anyway, the dip pole is the one that's on the move, and we think it's because of the movement of the liquid iron in Earth's outer core. A few years ago, the researchers from Leeds suggested that jet streams of molten iron were the culprit. But the idea was scrapped because the jets started accelerating years after the pole's movement did. So, the scientists have turned their attention farther south to find the source of the movement. The team from Leeds used 20 years of data collected by satellites, including the European Space Agency's SWARM, a trio in polar orbits that measure the strength and direction of Earth's magnetic field. They concluded that changes in flow at lower latitudes in the outer core have changed the magnetic flux, or the number of field lines, in two blobby areas. These blobs of magnetic flux are located underneath Canada and Siberia. While Canada's blob has gotten weaker, Siberia's has gotten stronger. This means Russia is winning the magnetic tug-of-war, and based on the team's models, it will continue to do so for at least a few more decades. But the balance is fairly delicate, so a small change in the field could send the dip pole back Canada's way. Wherever it goes, it's important we keep tabs on it because its position is used to update the world magnetic model, something used by all navigation systems that rely on the geomagnetic field. The World Magnetic Model is necessary to correct for local compass errors, and is used by the US Department of Defense, the UK's Ministry of Defense, NATO, and even average everyday smartphone users like you and me. We update the model every 5 years, and actually updated it ahead of schedule because the dip pole is dipping out so fast. Still, the next time I'm late for something because my GPS took me on a weird route, I'm going to blame the blobs and hope my boss buys it. As if the whole multiple North Poles bit weren't confusing enough, the magnetic North Dip Pole is technically a magnetic South Pole. Think about it, why else would it attract the North Pole of your compass? To learn more about what's happening inside the Earth's core and why our magnetic fields are moving, check out Marin's video here.
Namaste. Today we're going to talk about a trinity of groundedness. What makes you ground? And what are the components or the elements about groundedness? So think for a moment. When I say groundedness, what is the feeling you get? What is the feeling? Is it to feel straight? Is it to feel secure? Is it to feel that things are moving around but you are untouched, detached, that you have certain security in delivering what you want, your passion, a certain display of expansion. So there's many components. It's one-pointed. It's related to concentration as well, right? But in here I want to take you to a different point of view. where we are complementing 3 different aspects of the ground, which is very much related to earth structure. And even if we try to be separate from earth still have a great impact on us through the 5 elements, because we are her. We are the thinking aspect of earth. So the first part I want you to be aware is that groundness happened when there is a center that doesn't move. And that center usually is elongated. You have a point towards the sky and have a point towards the south, as in north and south. And that flow of energy that happens when is in alignment, meaning that your actions and your words and your thoughts and your feelings are all in agreement. It's not like you think one thing and you do another thing. One day you think that and next day you change that. So even if you don't feel that, oh, I'm not ungrounded, but that movement, that lack of cohesiveness is definitely diminishing your ability of moving forward, because it's like different energies that is trying to move you somewhere, but some they're behind, some they're on the side, so you are not really have any direction. And don't misunderstand me, it's not about the direction to move forward. It's actually to create a torus or an energy field around you where you are in the vacuum, you are in the stillness, you are in the center, and everything is moving around you, right? So this axis have a north, which usually or indicates where is it that you are going. What is in your evolution? What is the next step? So it has to do with your own experiment and how you are designing the ladder of ascension in your evolutionary perspectives. So the north indicates where I am moving. What is the direction that I'm moving? What is it I need to learn next? Right? While the south pole of that exit, in a small scale or large scale, is more of what is it I need to let go. Is the feelings, is the belly, is the part that is moving outwardly, is the movement of apana. And that is more related to what I have learned and what I am ready to let go. Right? So between the let go, the fluidity of let go, and the awareness of, I cannot avoid my lessons that are coming my way because that's what I need to learn. Right? So this is the first principle of the pole. Right? North pole, south pole. The second principle is cohesiveness. In order for this to be in alignment, you need to have that cohesiveness of action, speech, and thought. Now, within that exit, there are currents, 3 currents that determine very much the movement of your torus and the centeredness of how you are going to be relaxing into, right? The first one is the physical axis, or X. That's how we say in English, A-X-I-S, I think, axis, right? It's the structural one. It's the one that is more tangible. The physical body is related to the space between the top of the head and your rectum, passing through all the 33 vertebrates. It's very solid, it's very contained, it's very tangible. Right? So in the same way, the earth have that X that doesn't move. It's just, it rotates, it's in on orbit. Right? And that is related to your own physical incarnation. And is very much related as well with how you conduct the subtle aspect of you, how you receive it, the movement of your own chakras, the desires of your own chakras, the perceptions of your senses, how you assimilate that, how you put that in cohesiveness. Right? For example, if you are walking with the head down, it's, in humiliation and shame, or immediately the body, the structure will have that respond. The second flow is magnetic, right? Is really about gravity force. And that flow, it moves. Like we'll see in the video later, how the earth is moving its magnetic pole very quite rapidly now, actually, from Canada more towards Russia. And that is related more to your soul. Is always looking for two things. Looking what will be my next passion, and what or where I deposit my passion. So it's always looking, the north is always looking for that kind of grounding or experiment in your life, while the south is sustaining that search. So magnetically, you are always having that movement in your body. As the earth moves, you move, and all the minerals, all the irons, all the structural elements in your body and your blood, they change, and they have different values and different movements. So it's constantly happening in your physical body, but it's also related to your soul journey. This is very, very present and very active in the planet right now. And then the third one is the eggs that connect with your spirit. Is the meaning, is the deep meaning and the deep identity of who you really are. Is the I am. The I relate to the north, the am to the south. And when they are in alignment, they are not anymore alone. They're not about just I, and it's not only about it's about the cohesiveness of the identity, the spiritual identity. This in the planet and in humanity is now being tested, is now being put into motion, is put into awareness. Who are you? What is it you want? To what you stand for? What is your character? What is your potential? What is your passion? Are you doing the right thing? All those things are in question right now because the eggs of the spiritual humanity is in movement. So the practice we're going to do today is the intention that we're going to put in aligning these three currents: your spiritual axis, your magnetic axis, and your physical axis. That will able to have the structure of being in a more consistent and less wiggly way, right? So where the physical body is not going one way, or your soul journey is disjointed with your actions, and the soul doesn't know where and how to express it, doesn't have the tools, right? That disconnection between the two. And if you don't know who you are, you don't know what are you doing. You're just simply imitating others. So the exercise is really to strengthen right now your identity and your spiritual centeredness, your spiritual groundedness. How we do that? Well, we have been practicing this. Not only the practice that we do in our meditation, because meditation is a note here. Meditation brings the energy inwardly. It collects all the distractions and all the things that moves you to the exterior and brings you inwardly. And in that inwardly movement, naturally you encounter the 3 axes that ground you, right? So meditation, doesn't matter where you look or what spiritual school or whatever you follow, always come back to just sit, be with yourself, relax, sit, and be comfortable within you. But there are some practices that we can put our intention to accelerate or at least bring into a state of awareness, that sense of groundedness, and to unite the Trinity, because they all need each other for us to be relaxed and centered and feel that sense of strength, and that we can be ourselves without fear, that we can express ourselves without fear, and that we can be in the body without fear. Yes, it's not easy times. Yes, it's not an easy race to be incarnated with. After all, we're kind of predators, and but that's the experiment that we have chose to learn on Earth. So, without saying more, let's move into our experience, so you can have a more tangible experience and a more tangible aspect of what is to be grounded. Namaste.